time, so let's continue with our agenda. But before we begin, let me tell you the rules of this session. First, the presenter has the host will give 2 minute notice before the time is up and stop screen sharing if the time is up. So for presenter, please mind your time. Yeah. Third, each paper will be presented by one presenter. For those who have more than one presenter, please choose who is going to do the presentation and who is going to do the question and answer session. But I think it is okay if your friends or partner want to help to answer, it's okay. And then the sequence of the presentation is based on the table that we have already shown. We have already given you, yeah. So every presenter should pay attention on when they have their turn. So if what is it? Just be ready, okay? If after that, the reviewer will give comments right after each presenter finishes their presentation. So the comment includes in question and answer session. So 5 minutes for comment or question and answer, yeah. And six, if participants wants to leave room, for example, if you want to go to the toilet, you can inform in the chat. Participants can ask questions by writing it on the chat room, and moderator will read the questions. And then participants have to turn on the camera and stay until the session ends, especially the presenters, yeah? Because we will do the screenshot for all presenters. And I think presenters, you can do the same, yeah? When you present, just do the screenshot or your own, archive, yeah? And the last, all the audio will be muted except for the presenter. And when they have the chance to do the presentation. Okay, I hope you can get all the rules here. And now, let's start with our parallel session. Okay, the first presenters is Titi Setiorini. The paper title is Analysis the Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic in Procurement. Okay, Titis, are you ready?
Tinggal makan juga bisa ya.
Okay, Titis, kita ready? Okay, please. Hello, Titis?
Yeah, wait a minute.
Oh, okay.
The PowerPoint now. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. My name is Titis Teorini from Trisakti Institute of Transportation and Logistics Indonesia. Today, I will present the results of the research that I have done with title Analysis the Impact of COVID-19 Pandemic in Procurement. So,
It is if you want to
okay. Yeah.
can say next. Okay.
Okay. Next. Okay. We start from the introduction. The following is an introduction, which is the reason for this research. There are 5 things that are interrelated. The first is logistics management. Next, that has definition, part of the supply chain process, from point of origin to point of consumption with the aim of meeting consumer needs. And next is an important part of logistic management, that is procurement, has definition, an effort to obtain the desired goods and service based on standard procurement methods and process. To realize the procurement carry-out purchasing activities, namely buying goods from suppliers, which if the supplier from the abroad, it is called import. Import has definition. Next is the purchase and entry of goods from abroad into the country, and an economic activity of buying foreign products for purpose or being marketed domestically. And
Halo Pak.
recently, what
Ya.
has become an obstacle to import and procurement activities, namely
Ya
the
Pak,
COVID-19
sebentar
pandemic.
Pak ya, saya lagi
Next.
setting live
This
dulu
is
nih
the
yang
new
host,
virus, and the disease it
setting live
caused was
apa
unknown
namanya,
before the outbreak
yang
in Wuhan,
room-roomnya.
China
Sebentar
in
lagi saya
December
ke situ.
2019, and this pandemic already spread all over the world.
Ya.
Next. Based on the introduction, the authors are interested to knowing the
Rekaman dulu bisa
ability to
nggak?
supply the
Atau saya aja deh.
suppliers with comparing
Kamu
purchase
jalan aja deh.
orders and receipt orders before and
Rekaman
during the
Agil.
COVID-19 pandemic, and also to knowing the delivery accuracy
Ada
from the shipment of foreign goods,
alumni.
import documents, and the time required for goods to arrive at PT Harapan Maju Indah warehouse. Next. And this is the function of procurement by Abbas 2012, and then the purpose of procurement by Martono in 2015, and then next. The definition of purchase order by Sihaya in 2013, and procurement process summarized by Nicoletta 2015, and also the regulation on the import of pet food from the Ministry of Agriculture. Next. This research use descriptive qualitative analysis. The first is data reduction, that is summarize the purchase order and receipt order before and when the COVID-19 pandemic. And then data display, present data in tabular form and with narrative text, and data verification, making conclusion and verification. Yeah, next. There are two types data. The first one is primary data from purchase and receipt orders with ETA or estimate time arrival before and during the COVID-19 pandemic, and secondary data from books, journals, and regulation related. And then data collection tool, observing the objects, purchase and receipt order, which was sent to 3 different suppliers, and then interviews, asking a question related to the theme of the purchasing decision and import decision, and in documentation, collecting the purchase and receipt order data from PT Harapan Maju Indah before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay. And this is the analysis for supply ability before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. We have two tables. Every table has a 3 supplier with initial X, Y, and Z from Thailand, and then table 1.1 comparing between purchase order and receipt order, and then table 1.2 comparing purchase order and receipt order during the COVID-19 pandemic. We will find out how much the percentage of purchase order fulfilled and whether the amount of receipt order is in accordance with the PO or purchase order by this table. The results is all of the suppliers can still fulfill the purchase orders before and during the COVID-19 pandemic with percentage purchase order fulfilled 90% and above. Also, all suppliers send a performa invoice to PT Harapan Maju Indah via email as that they are able to fulfill the purchase order. If we look back at the table 1.2 for ETA or estimate time arrival on February 24, 2020 and March 2020, the amount of received order is only half of the purchase order. This happened because there was an order was cancelled by PT Harapan Maju Indah on the grounds that apart from looking at the existing stock, PT Harapan Maju Indah also show the interest or trends of consumer that could change at any time when they order goods to supplier. this has been agreed upon by both parties, and this is consistent with the statement from Giarto that what is supplied by the supply chain reflects the aspiration of the customer or the end consumer. Yeah, next. Okay, and this is the analysis for delivery accuracy supplier before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. And from this table, we will find out how long does it take for the ship to arrive at the destination port, and is it in accordance with what is in the purchase order. Then also to find out how long the document is received by the importer and how long it takes for the goods to arrive at the warehouse. Next.
Titis, you have 2 more minutes.
Okay. Next. Okay, and the results is all of the suppliers are able to deliver the goods in accordance with PO before the COVID-19 pandemic. And then for documents delivery, relative normal, but for supplier Y, they are late to send the documents up to 16 days late because SC documents or health certificate document must be revised and resigned by the Ministry of Agriculture in Thailand. And due to delays in receipt of import documents, affect the length of time the goods arrive at the warehouse until 18 days later after the ship arrives at the destination port. And also as a result, there are demurrage costs rising from the use of containers in the port for too long. Next. And this is accordance with the results of research from Sugian Hidayati, which contends that although the procurement procedure for imported goods is clear, but must have more accuracy because if it is less true, it will hamper the process of releasing goods. In conclusion, the COVID-19 pandemic doesn't affect the ability to supply suppliers because the suppliers have enough time, which is 1 week to 5 months to prepare, and also the delays occur precisely in the delivery of documents because of employees of suppliers owned by PT Harapan Majinda and also several related agencies still have to work from home because of the COVID-19 pandemic is happening. And PT Harapan Majinda should continue to remain suppliers related to shipping import documents so that goods already in the port can get out immediately so that unnecessary costs arise and the goods can quickly arrive at the warehouse. Next. Okay, here is a list for reference on this research. Includes the list of books, journals, and the regulations. And that brings us to the end. I'd like to thank you for your time and attention today. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you very much, Selfie. You are really on time. It's exactly 10 minutes. Okay, now let's go to the reviewer, Dr. Ayu, please. And those who have questions can also ask in the chat, yeah, in chat room.
Okay. First thing, the title. Right, when it goes to the title, is actually looking at what type of product are you discussing here. The presenter, who's that? Kitties. Because the title doesn't, zoom to the type of product. If let's say you are looking at the agricultural product, then it should be mentioned there. Because you are not you are not discussing about all the products, isn't it? Right. So that is, and then the particular what you call your title of your study, right? It should be an analysis of the impact of something just now. What is it? That particular title should focus more on your particular analysis, right? So that is regarding the title and the overall perspective of your topic of your analysis, right? Because you mentioned about just procurement. What type of procurement are you referring to, right? I mean the product, because when you explained just now, one of the part discuss about agricultural product. So are you referring to agricultural product per se, or there be other products as well, right? So that is my what I call comment on the first part. Okay, now interviews. Okay, you use qualitative studies. You interview people, isn't it? How many you interview? I would like to know. Who do you interview? Alright, to get your particular, to answer your research problem. Okay, to answer your research problem. Alright, so that is another issue. Okay, Titis. So Titis, how many people do you interview?
Two
Only
departments.
2 people? Who are they?
The
Who are they?
purchasing division and import division. They are
The purchase division and the import means one representative from each one. From each of this department, is it? From each department? Okay.
Yeah.
So, the thing is that how do you come up with the calculation? You base on the secondary data or you base on the interview? Just now you show table 1.1, table 1.2, that one is more to secondary data, isn't it?
Yeah, recapitulation the data, the import document data.
The import, not you do not get that from the interview, isn't it? You get based on the secondary information, right? Secondary data.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So I just want to know the interview part. Okay, the interview part. Actually, what are you asking? You know,
I'm asking about why the document really late to arrive in the company up to 16 days late after the ship at the destination port. Normally, that is only just like maybe late for 2 or 3 days.
Okay, that one before or after COVID-19? Because your title is COVID-19, right?
Yes.
After COVID-19,
COVID-19.
It takes more time. It takes more time. Is it? After COVID-19, it will take more time, right?
Yeah.
Not before. Before you need, before COVID-19, 2 or 3 days. But after COVID-19, more days.
Yeah, then that is just one shipment. For the others, still normal. Just only that happens once. Not every shipment.
Do you ask the person why is it late? Why they take such a longer time after COVID-19? Do you ask the person, the 2 person that you interview, why is it that during COVID-19, why it takes a lot longer time? Why it take, you said just now how many? 14 days, right? 14 to 16 days. Why? Do they give you the answer? Reason. Because that is actually your that you have to discuss, isn't it? What is
the purchasing division asking the suppliers directly via email, and the reason is they are still have to work from home, and the suppliers company far from the Ministry of Agriculture in Thailand, so there is need the time to get a complaint to have that to get the signature by the ministry to something like
so
that.
this agricultural product, can you tell me example of this agricultural?
The product is pet food.
Oh, pet food. I see.
Yes.
Okay, that's why you have to zoom. As I'm talking about, there's so many products here, right? So the title, that's why. So your title should focus on pet food. So that I will not say, are you importing rice? Are you importing cereal? Or fruits? Okay. So that is my comment. All right, and then definitely the issue is that because they have procedures, isn't it? The issue regarding the research problem is why they take a longer time, because they have certain procedures to follow, isn't it? Right? And because of the COVID-19, they work from home, it will cost, them to take more time, isn't it? To get all the procedures, right? That is the issue that you have to discuss actually. Okay?
Okay,
alright? Okay, that's it for my review. Any question from the floor? Okay. Rennie, is there any question from the floor? Oh, no question. So I think that's all from me. Okay, so try to
Thank you.
narrow down the topic. All right, so that people can see
Sorry,
that
Ayu, dia nggak
no
dengar.
question
Yeah,
from the
Dr.
floor.
Ayu. Yeah, Dr. Ayu.
Yeah.
There's no question from the floor. I'm very sorry because of the time also finished.
Yeah.
So Titis,
Okay.
I hope you got the what is it? The ideas from the notes from Dr. Ayu. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Now it's time for Firdaus Neni and Yeni Rahmawati. Who is going to be the presenter? Firdaus Neni and yes. Who is the presenter? Are you the presenter or Yeni?
Firdaus Neni.
Okay. Yeah. Firdaus Neni, if you are ready, you can start. And if you want to go to the next slide, you can say next. Okay.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, the honorable examiners and audience of this GROSTLOG 2020. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. First of all, I want to let me introduce myself. My name is Firdaus Neni, as first author and presenter, and my partner is Yeni Rahmawati. Please introduce.
Okay, thank you for those, Wendy. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Yeni Rahmawati as a second presenter. We both study in air transportation management. Thank you so much for having us. I'm delighted to be here. What a beautiful day it is, and I'm so happy to be sharing with you all. Okay, please, Firdaus Neni, start for the presentation to our topic.
Okay, our presentation is entitled with the role of Air France as a pioneer flight in supplying logistics in Indonesian remote areas when pandemic COVID-19. Next, please. Pioneer flights are intended to provide access to remote, inland, and areas that are difficult to connect with other modes of transportation. COVID-19 is now a pandemic that occurs in many countries around the world, so it's very influential on the economy in all aspects and the world of aviation. The spread of the pandemic virus has an impact on all business sectors, especially aviation related to passenger airlines, cargo airlines, food providers, airport authorities, aircraft part manufacturers, travel agents, and MRO organizations all are affected by this pandemic virus. However, even though the total tonnage of cargo has fallen and is expected to continue for several months, air cargo has been recognized as a vital partner for many humanitarian supply chain activities. As we can see on the right side picture is Papa Kilo OCB Type Bell 412 Airfast Timika helicopter operation. Next slide, please. About method, this research is based on qualitative descriptive. The source of the data obtained from this data is by collecting primary and secondary data or information obtained from PT Airfast Indonesia using the interview method. For this research, we took two informants, namely Irwan Ardianto Sunardi and Boni Bagus, working as private employees at PT Airfast Indonesia as a pilot and flight attendants. Next, please. About discussion, Corona pandemic has a very significant impact on flight activity on pioneer routes. Large-scale social restriction or PSBB is quite an obstacle in supplying logistics in remote areas of Indonesia if using modes of transportation other than air and sea. Therefore, the role of the pioneering movement is an air transportation mode was requested to be a facility to equip supply logistics in remote areas of Indonesia at the time of COVID-19 pandemic. On the left side picture is basic goods assistance provided by PT Airfast Indonesia before pandemic. Next, please. Next, please. The result during COVID-19 on March 26, 2020, the Airfast route was closed. Neither the flights nor the cargo Also, to supply logistics to remote areas was stopped, so that people only relied on government assistance as well as the relied of their cultivation. The flight of the Freeport was not approved by government and task force of the company. At the time of this pandemic, the new SOP was implemented as of June 15, 2020, which was a regulation starting from the shipment of cargo with a protocol for spraying disinfectants to crew who had to wear masks, gloves, and eye protection, as we can see on the below pictures, and for the use of face shield not suitable for the crew because not suitable for the crew because it was less flexible. Regulation for passenger transportation already imposed physical distancing by reducing passenger capacity by 50%. Passenger must complete document requirements such as COVID-19 free letters like rapid PCR swab test, as we can see on the below picture. Next, please. This is about table of comparison during normal times and during the pandemic. During the normal times, we have regulation of the Minister of Transportation number 79 of 2017, and during the pandemic, number 18 of 2020. And for the quantity of Airfast Pioneer flights during normal times, average cargo 30 ton per month, and during the pandemic 0 ton per month. Next slide, please. About the conclusion of the table, comparison during normal times and pandemics are so very significant, but from government regulation to new SOPs are implemented in order to survive in this COVID-19 wave. First point, it's about quantity, and second point, it's about new procedures. But from government regulation to new SOPs are implemented in order to survive in this COVID-19 wave. PT Airfast Indonesia itself also implements several strict health protocols and SOPs for its own employees, passengers, and logistics. Next, please. And we have recommendation to PT Airfast Indonesia, especially to whom cooperate with Freeport Indonesia, need continuously implement the health protocols so they can avoid of corona pandemic contagious or contamination. And in supporting logistics to remote area where has been supported in normal period, better also to do the same thing to support this area during this pandemic period, because this is the hard time for this area. Therefore, people who is domiciled in remote areas not only depending on center of government. Next slide, please. And we have several lists of references that we got from national and international journal. Thank you for your attendance, and for Q&A, move to my partner Yani Rahmawati. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Siti. Are you
Okay, can I see the what you call PowerPoint just now? I just want to look at the what you call the PowerPoint. Is it? I think the title is too long. The role of Air Force as a pioneer flight in supplying logistic in Indonesia. So it means here the logistic. Are you referring the logistic here? You're referring to passengers alone, or including goods as well?
For the pioneer flight, first one I will explain about the purpose of pioneer flight. The purpose of pioneer flight is to connect remote areas, disadvantaged areas that have not been served by other modes of transportation, and encourage the growth and development of areas for realizing the stability, defense, and the security of the state. And it is necessary to hold a pioneering air transportation. And for the delivery to remote areas is like a cargo and necessities and the necessities of God.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay. Do you mean that when you say remote area, it means that this area cannot be, what you call, I would say, traveled by other types of transportation? This remote
Yes.
area cannot be covered by other types of transportation?
Yes. Yes. Usually, just air transportation can be accessed to remote areas.
Okay. Can you give me examples? Because it doesn't mention here.
Oh,
Examples of remote area. Yeah. I'm
oh,
not,
the, all right.
I'm from Malaysia. That's why I need to know.
All right, all right. The remote areas in Indonesia, for aircraft Indonesia has been spread in several regions in Indonesia, like uh, Timika, Papua. Timika, Papua is a remote area in Indonesia.
I see. Okay. Right. And then regarding what you call the method of your analysis, so you are going, yeah, you are using qualitative as well?
Yes,
Are
right.
you using qualitative research? So who are the persons that you interview?
Okay.
Or
Data
this
collection.
particular, yeah,
All right. Data collection method we use study is a deep interview, and we
yeah.
decide only choose two informants. And for the Boni Bagus, he worked in Airbus Indonesia since 2010 until now as a flight attendant.
Mm-hmm.
And for Irwan Ardianto, he works in Airbus Indonesia since 2008 until now for as a pilot.
Okay, so it means that you interview as well two persons
Yes, right.
from this airfast. Okay, right. I think that should not be problem. Okay, what is actually the issue? Issue of this particular, I mean, issue is the problem regarding your study here. What is the main issue?
The main issue is Airbus Indonesia couldn't play much role in supplying logistics in remote areas or during the COVID-19 because there are government regulations regarding large-scale social restrictions that prohibit flight during COVID-19.
Okay, that's good. So that is the main issue. Now you are trying to look how do you tackle that problem in terms of giving supplies to the remote area, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so
Um,
can I know what is the key goods that you send to this remote area? Is there any particular good that you send?
It's like basic necessity.
Necessity means
yeah.
food lah. We talking
Food
about
there.
food.
Yes,
Yeah,
talk
I
about food.
see. Only food.
Only food.
Yeah, okay. Right. So the thing is that any procedures that they have to follow, they have to take more time or shorter time when they send the goods there. When it comes to results,
Shorter
is
time.
the procedure more or less?
More.
More procedure
Yeah.
after the COVID-19, isn't it? When
After
the
COVID-19.
COVID-19,
Yes,
yeah,
right.
okay. So it takes more time lah. Are you saying that it takes more time to
Yes, it takes more time
arrive to the consumers lah?
to supplying the
Okay.
logistic in remote areas, right?
Okay, all right. Thank you. I think it's
Okay.
it's a good study, except that the title maybe you have to narrow down the title too long. Right, the
All right.
title.
That's all for our presentation. And thank you so much for your interest and attention.
Yeah, thank
Bye.
you, Dr. Ali, for the comment. Now let's move on to the third. Sabila Kartika Sari and Azra Raihan Atira. They will talk about analysis of air cargo export handling at PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta in pandemic of COVID-19.
Sure.
I think COVID-19 is very popular from
Yeah,
now.
everybody is discussing about COVID-19.
Okay then, Sabila or Azra, if you are ready, please. You can start.
Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, judges and all of the audience. First of all, let me introduce myself and my partner for this presentation. My name is Sabila Kartika Sari, and you can call me Sabila. And my partner is
My name is Azra Rehanatira, and you can call me Azra.
we are students of Institute Transportation and Logistics Trisakti, Jakarta, Indonesia, in major at Transport Management 2007. I would like to say thank you for attending this conference today, especially to Dr. Siti Ayu Jalil as our judge from University of Technology Nara. So if any mistake before this setting and an honor to meet you in this video today. In this opportunity, I would like to present about analysis of air cargo export handling at PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta in pandemic of COVID-19. Purpose of this presentation to compare cargo export handling at PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta. Before and during, I will explain to you about the introduction. Next, please. PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta is located PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta in ground and cargo handling. PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta Airport provides comprehensive include ground and cargo handling. Cargo handling is a service provided for goods and cargo goods the airport, include the having transfer them from aircraft to storage or cargo hold, storage or cargo warehouse, as well as delivered to the facilities received in goods from owner, arranged in a storage area or cargo warehouse, transferred from storage to aircraft and arranged in an aircraft compartment. On March 2020,
I'm sorry, Sabila. I'm sorry, Sabila. Your voice is echoing, mantul. Do you use other tools around you, maybe your headphone and laptop, because your voice is echoing?
Oh, okay, sorry, miss.
Okay, yeah. Now please continue.
On to March 2020, it was confirmed that the COVID case had entered Indonesia and influenced Indonesian economy significantly. The pandemic had also affected the as the Indonesian government decided to restrict all flights, include export and import trade. PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta, which engaged in international cargo handling, becomes one of the companies that are still handling export and import of goods during the COVID-19 pandemic, to encourage economic activity to continue. Next, the government issued regulation on the provisions of goods that could be sent during the COVID-19 pandemic. The provisions are explained through PM 18 2020, Article 16, Part 3 on the control of transportation of goods. There are important goods that are prioritized, such as medical, health, sanitation goods, and etc. Next, please. And for methodology, others use qualitative descriptive method, and this research was conducted using interview data collection as primary data and cargo volume statistic before and during pandemic as secondary data. And next, for the discussion, the air cargo handling is a core business of PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta in the airport, regardless of whether in this company provides space to handle each its services or involve special cargo handling. This is a complex process because of the activities that go together at the time of arrival and departure on the air and land, the physical handling, and handling of documentaries. Delivery process of goods between cities and countries continue to be carried out as the export and import businesses are included in the list of businesses that has got the government's permission to operate during large-scale social restriction, or in Bahasa it called PSBB. In this period, PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta still handles international cargo shipments, even though the volume is not as much as normal condition, as for the items handled and prioritized, such as foodstuff, medical devices, and pharmaceuticals. Next, and for the result, handling of cargo at PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta during the COVID-19 pandemic has implemented the standard operational procedure and protocols that have been determined. In addition, during COVID-19 pandemic, there are several passenger aircraft are used to transport cargo. The cargo itself is placed in the passenger cabin. This is chosen to empower passenger aircraft, which is restricted to operate until an undetermined time. As we can see the picture, the cargo placed in the passenger cabin. And the next result. Next, please. Early March 2020, the number of cargo export service in PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta. This is the estimated comparison of operating and non-operating aircraft. On the left side, this is the result data before pandemic from 2019 until February 2020. PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta operating 20 flights, and on the right side, during pandemic, PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta only operate 13 flights. Let's move to the next one. They could serve 100 tons cargo per day before pandemic of COVID-19, but during pandemic they only serve 30 until 50 tons of cargo export per day. This small table, this is shown the aircraft type and the payload of this aircraft in tonnage. Okay, next. Next, please. International Air Transport Association, or IATA, revealed that in March 2020, data on air cargo transportation tended to decline. In global demand measured by cargo ton kilometers, demand dropped by 15.2% compared to the previous 12 months, while in global capacity, cargo transportation dropped by 22.7%. The graphic on the left side, this is the real number of cargo before and during pandemic. So, the result data that we already have, the loaded cargo by PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta before the pandemic was 4,579 tons, while during the pandemic, the cargo decreased as much 30,229 tons. 29% cargo decreased, so they only serve 71 of cargo during pandemic. Let's move to the next graphic. As explained in the previous slide, and the result data before the pandemic from 2019 until February 2020, PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta operating 20 flights. But during pandemic, PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta only operate 13 flights. So the reduction in flight decreased by 35%. Then, the total operating flights during the pandemic only 65%. Others also compare the tonnage of cargo between Hussein Sastranegara and Kertajati Airport in West Java, which reduction of the two airports are same as experienced by PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta at Soekarno-Hatta International Airport, which dropped by 30%. Others obtained this data from two airports before and during pandemic. After comparing Hussein Sastranegara and Kertajati Airport, the tonnage result for handling export cargo at the two airports are 32%. The graphic shown the percentage of export cargo handled by PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta for the last or until 5 months or during the pandemic. This study confirms this primary data using secondary data is obtained in flight schedule and statistical data on the webinar or web-based seminar as well as the Badan Pusat Statistik Jakarta. And conclusion about this result. Next.
Yes, Rabia, 1 more minute, yeah.
Okay. As a result of the pandemic, the enacted of PSBB on early March 2020, this led to a reduction in number of flights handled by the warehouse at PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta. It handled 20 flights before the COVID-19 pandemic and only 13 flights during the pandemic, or decreased 35%. This pandemic also had an impact on the depression in estimated cargo handled by PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta warehouse operated at Soekarno-Hatta Airport, which is decreased by 28%, and the total amount of depression of both Kertajati Airport and Hussein Sastranegara are by 28%. So the average or depression in these three airports is 30.6%. This condition may represent the other airports' condition in Indonesia. As for the comparison of handling export goods before and during pandemic, which has the most significant difference is when almost all passenger aircraft as used transport aircraft because there are no passengers are allowed to be carried. And the last recommendation for PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta is to remain cautious and cautious against the current outbreak, and it always complies with health protocol that have been regulated by the government. This company should continue to show its great value as a leading company in ground handling service industry in Indonesia and serve the exporters and importers by providing good service and quality. And next, for the reference, this is for our reference. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.
Dr. Ayu.
Okay, so Azra, yeah? Azra. Okay, I'm going to ask questions, Sabila or Azra? Azra. Okay, Azra, your study is on analysis of air cargo export, but you are saying that they are using the passengers what you call carriage to to bring in all the what you call goods, isn't it? To supply, I mean to transport the goods, right? They use the passengers as you shown just now, the cabin, I mean the passengers area transform to become the place where you put all the goods there, isn't it? Right? So it means that you are referring to the transport, talking about those aeroplanes or that bring the passengers, isn't it? Are you referring to that? Because you mentioned just now that the number of what you call goods that that has increased, isn't it? I mean the goods they have used or transformed the passengers, what you call the passengers air transport to bring the goods, right? You are mentioning just now, right? But is this company PT Jasa is handling the goods or is a passengers transport? My question. This PT Jasa that you mentioned here. Or they are doing both, passengers and goods as well, is it?
Yes, both
So the company means they also offer for passengers, fly
passengers
for
and cargo.
passengers as well as for the goods, transport of goods using their aeroplanes. Is it correct?
During pandemic, they focus on cargo.
Oh, so you mean that the issue now they has transformed the passengers, what you call plane to air cargo plane, is it, for goods, for transporting goods, right?
Yes, right.
Oh, I see. So that is the issue now that you are looking at, right? But is it possible? I mean, if from the particular what you call picture that you show me, yes, I saw that they can transform that. Definitely, why they do that? Why is it that they transform into flying all these cargos lah, become air cargo? Why?
Because no passenger during pandemic, less passenger.
Less passengers. So it really caused their revenue to fall. You know, revenue means
Yes, I know.
yeah, their income lah. I would say their income has reduced. That's why they have to move to air cargo. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. Right. So now, okay, that's the thing. That's the thing, because from your title, actually, I only see that this particular PT Jasa is focusing on air cargo, isn't it? Right. So, but actually, it's also transporting the passengers as well, isn't it? But because of the pandemic, right, they have to move to air cargo to become air cargo. Is it? Right.
Yes.
That is to clarify lah. So your title it should be during pandemic, not in pandemic. During pandemic,
Yes,
right?
during
During
pandemic.
pandemic, during pandemic of COVID-19. So this particular PT Jasa has changed. It's not actually analysis. It's not an analysis, right? Because
Okay, we'll mark it.
yeah.
Sorry
Okay.
for.
Right. Okay. Now one more thing.
Okay.
Okay, your results. You show about something percentage just now, isn't it? Right? In your table, you calculate the percentage, right? One of the results.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yes.
how do you measure that? How do you measure? You just based on how many that they carry and then what happened during the COVID-19, is it? How do you measure to get that value percentage? Just like you mentioned, 29%. It dropped from 71% to 29%. Isn't it? Are you referring to this company PT Jasa, or you are referring to overall?
Referring to PT Jasa Angkasa Semesta.
For that particular reduction. Okay, I just want to clarify that. All right, so I hope that that explanation in terms of you don't put the number of tons, isn't it? You mentioned tons, right? That 71%. Okay, you calculate that value in terms of percentage. You transfer from that tons, isn't it? The particular what you call amount of air cargo or goods there in terms of ton, right?
Yes.
Okay. Right. What about that BDO? What that BDO stands for?
BDO is Bandung. At Bandung.
Oh, that is
Yeah.
the area, isn't it? A city,
Bandung,
right?
West Java. Yes. Three
Yeah,
letter code
Bandung, it's in
is
West Java.
BDO. BDO is three letter code of Ayata.
I see. Okay, so because it's not clear in terms of that, okay?
Okay.
I think overall,
Yeah,
definitely
Dr.
is
Ayu, I'm sorry. Yeah.
in that sense. Yeah, okay. I think that's all from me. Okay, thank you, Azra.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
thank you for
thank
your
you,
kind
presenter.
attention to
Okay,
join
now,
the presentation and listening.
Mm.
May all those we have shared be beneficial for all of us. See you next time.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Now, okay. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Now we
Okay.
have Yosef Joshua Putra and Christian Hananto Adi with title The Impact of COVID-19 on Ground Handling Service. So it's going to be the presenter, Yosef or Christian? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. If you are ready, please.
Good afternoon, Madam Siti and Ms. Reni, and good afternoon to all the audience. Today we are going to present our journal about the impact of COVID-19 on ground handling. First, let me introduce ourselves. My name is Joseph Putra, and my partner here is Christian Hananto. Next. So this is our overview. It includes the paper title, Introduction, Problem, Theory, Model or Framework, Hypothesis, Methodology, Population, Sample and Scale or Data Collection Tool, Analysis, Key Findings, Conclusions, Recommendation, and References. Next. So, we use an alias because the company doesn't want us to put their company's name in our journal. So we put XYZ as an alias. XYZ company is one of the company that handles service in the aviation sector, such as cargo, warehousing, and passenger luggage. Ground handling is the wide range of service provided to facilitate an aircraft flight or aircraft ground repositioning, preparation for upon conclusion of a flight, which will include both customer service and service functions. The ground handling operation represents the aircraft activities at airport in charge of processing passengers, cargo, facilities, and supplies at and around parked aircraft. These service providers depend on aircraft that are going in and out of the airport. Next. In early 2020, the world was caught off guard by the outbreak of unknown respiratory disease that began in Wuhan, Hubei province. It spread rapidly throughout more than 190 countries and territories. The spread of this disease has had wider social and economic impacts. This virus seems to have an enormous impact on the airline industry as a whole. Many flight cancellations occur, aircraft groundings, travel bans, and border closure are quickly felt in lower load factors and yield for airlines. At the other hand, airports lose their non-aeronautical revenues. Next. The research problem. First is the outbreak come at unpredictable time. Because of this, the situation delivered an unprecedented shock to airlines. This makes all business that work around this industry cannot prepare for the worst. And then it's the reduction in number of all flights. Only 70 flights were operated by a total of around 7,900 before the virus outbreak. All the airlines are currently under immense pressure. Next. The theory, ground handling, the journal that support the ground handling There is a knowledge and skills in handling apron aircraft, handling passengers and luggage at terminals and cargo, and post at the cargo area. And next one is the COVID-19. COVID-19 is an acute respiratory disease caused by a newly emerged zoonotic coronavirus. Positive signs include single-stranded RNA virus, named severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 or SARS-CoV-2. Next, the hypothesis. 50% reduction in operational activities occurred due to flight restrictions. As for the delivery of goods, it can still be continued. Next, methodology. We use qualitative data by interviewing one of the employees' company to get information about the company's situation right now. And descriptive. With descriptive method, we use journal as our sources to support the theory. Next. Research method. The sample we use the ground handling company that as I've said before, the XYZ company. The population is the company that affected by coronavirus. The data analysis we use is the descriptive, and the data collection proof we collect data by interviewing and ask for their data. Next. Next.
I'm sorry, miss. The safe connection is poor.
Sorry. What do you mean? You cannot continue?
Yeah, the safe connection.
Oh, okay. So, Christian, could you continue?
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian, you can continue it. It's almost finished, I think. We can continue until the analysis.
As you can see in the table from January, there are a number of flights in like 6 flights in the include domestic and charter international flight. Then when the COVID pandemic occurred in Indonesia in February, the number of flights was beginning to fall. The drop represents almost 95%. The most drastic decline occurred in March to April, which was around 62% in March and down in 6 April. Next.
Christian, we
For
can...
the analysis too. Next. Then the next problem occur in the launch. You can back from slide, please. Again. Again, analysis. The next problem is in the launch. The launch is a place used by business and executive class passengers while waiting for a plane in the airport. In the table 2 above, as you can see, the number of passengers using launch service in January, domestic and international, is the 34,550 passengers. The number continued to decrease until it was recorded that in June only 1% or around 223 passengers was served. Oh, back presentation please. In the table, as you can see, it can be in January the company served up to 26,387 tons in international sector. In 534 tons, the domestic sector with a total 26,921 tons. As you can see, there was a decline in the following months, and the most significant was the month March until April. However, this decline was not as low as decline passenger flights. All existing problems are caused by the travel ban in all countries. Countries impose lockdown policy so that people cannot enter and exit other countries. For cargo flights, there was not significant decrease because the government did not close cargo flights. The cost of the weekend cargo service is because manufacturers or home industries have lost to avoid losses due to lack buyers during COVID-19. Next, key findings. Decreased productivity of company operation activities during the COVID-19 pandemic. The first policy implemented was laying off employee. The employee who work at this company are temporarily laid off and working online to avoid spread COVID-19 in the workplace.
Christian, you have 1 more minute.
Okay. The second policy implemented by the company dealing with the COVID-19 pandemic, implementing to healthy protocol by the government recommendation. And the third policy is cost efficiency. The company implement its cost efficient policy of stopping equipment leasing, starting from the equipment office to airport. The conclusion, many policies have been implemented. Next, dealing with problem during this COVID-19 pandemic. This policy implemented to avoid losses. All efforts are made by the company to reduce company expense. The impact of COVID-19 on PTXY is it can be concluded that COVID-19 influenced company mobility, which result in reduced revenue. Next. Next. Okay. This is our references for the journal. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Christian and Joseph. And Dr. Ami will give comment for this.
Okay, Christian, your title is acceptable, right? But I just like to know, right? You have to mention which part of ground handling that you are looking at. Which part of ground handling? You should mention that, all right, in your study. Okay. Just now you suddenly you have lounge, isn't it? Lounge activities there, and then you have I think you mentioned 3 there, right? In terms of ground handling, is that you refer to as ground handling?
Yes. The company that we research service in launch, passenger aircraft and cargo aircraft.
Okay. So the thing is that you should mention this earlier, so that when you show your result, then people can know, oh, you focus on 3 areas of ground handling. Okay, Christian?
Okay.
You get
Okay.
me? All right.
Yes.
So that is the thing that you have to mention here. Your title is no problem. It's direct there. Okay. But in terms of your hypothesis, you mentioned about hypothesis. So what is your result from based on that hypothesis? Just now we got mentioned about hypothesis, right? 45%. So is that what you found? How many percent does it achieve? Christian, how many percent? Because you have to answer your hypothesis. In your slide, you show about the hypothesis, right?
Yes.
So you from the results, what can you say?
They are decreasing from the hypothesis around 95% during this COVID pandemic.
Oh, so not 45% lah, 95%.
Sorry.
That's why you said you mentioned 45%, isn't it? Because the hypothesis, either you reject or you fail to reject the hypothesis. So it's 95%, it means you reject that hypothesis, right? Because your result, you say mention 95%. Okay, Christian, that is my comment. Yes. You check on your hypothesis, okay? Check that hypothesis.
Okay.
If not, you have to take it out because you have to answer the hypothesis. Okay? All right. Thank you. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
Christian.
our professor. Thank you for our
Okay.
interest and attention. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joseph and Christian. Please check again, yeah, your hypothesis. It's very important, yeah. Next, let's move on with the fifth presenter, Sigit Adin Prasetyo and Muhammad Melvin, who's going to do the presentation.
Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi.
The honorable for the all of the educator, the honorable for the lecturer and all of audience. First of all, I'd like to say thank you for the time given to me. Before we start the presentation, let's us praise and give thanks to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, who has given us the kindness so we can gather in this conference with a good condition. Let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Melvin Mauludin, and my partner is Sigit Adi Prasetyo. Will present this presentation. Okay, Sigit, time is yours.
Okay, Melvin, thanks for the time. Today, let me to present our research. To improve customer satisfaction in modern retail. Next. This is the composition of the presentation. The first one is paper title, second is introduction, third research problem, fourth theory, 5 hypothesis, 6 methodology, 7 population and sample, 8 analysis, 9 key finding, 10 conclusion, 11 suggestion, and 12 reference. And next. This is the introduction. Transmart is a retail company in Indonesia, which is the owner of the Carrefour supermarket chain and Carrefour Express, and a subsidiary of PT Trans Retail Indonesia. Retail activity has now become a necessity where customers already have pattern the change and will always change along with the development of trend. Therefore, retail activities must be dynamic. Our study case at Transmart Cempaka Putih, Central Jakarta, and this is the picture of Transmart Cempaka Putih. Next, research problem. Based on modern retail business, still a lot of problem that can be found, especially in Transmart Cempaka Putih. One of the problem is transaction process. In that process, there are still many movements that do not produce added value and cause waste. By applying the concept lean in the transaction process, the waste can also be reduced or even eliminated. Using lean can also increase customer satisfaction. Next, theory. There are some theory in our paper that is retail, lean, satisfaction, and waste. The first theory from Kotler, retail is a retail sale that involves the sale of goods or service intended for personal use and not for sale. Gaspers 2007 revealed that lean is a continuous improvement effort that has the aim to eliminate waste, provide value to customer, and increase added value. Kotler 2010 explained satisfaction is a feeling in someone who can be either happy or disappointed due to expectations that are not following what is perceived. And according to Melton 2005, waste is any activity. According to Melton 2005, waste is any activity that does not produce benefit for customer. And based on theory above, we make a conclusion that lean logistics is an effort made in order to reduce activities or process that do not produce added value and is carried out continuously at the right time, place, quantity, quality in meeting customer needs. And next, hypothesis. We have two hypotheses. Hypothesis 1, there is waste in the transaction process of goods in Transmart Cempaka Putih. Hypothesis 2, lean concept with value stream mapping method can minimize the occurrence of waste in the transaction process of goods. And next, methodology. Our method use a quantitative method with value tree mapping as a tool in mapping problem. The mapping in the transaction process. The study used a questionnaire with 5-point Likert scale, ranging from 1 strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree, and then the data is analyzed and processed using SPSS application. Next, population and sample. The population in this study as many as 800 people. After being calculated using the solving formula with a tolerance of 0.05%, and then obtain a sample of 267 sample. And next, analysis. This is a value tree mapping method to analyze the problem in the transaction process. Oval for in-out process, triangle for process itself, diamond for decision. And it has some process. The process is customer enter the store, it's non-value added. Customer choose item to buy, its value added. Goods are taken to cashier to be paid, it's non-value added. Queue to make a payment, it's non-value added. Put the groceries on the cashier table, it's non-value added. The items scanned by the cashier, it's value added. Goods put in shopping bag, it's value added. Choose a payment with cash or debit credit card, it's value added. And goods received by customer, it's value added. From this analysis, we can know the value added and non-value added process. Next, analysis. There are factors that influence customer satisfaction: waiting, motion, takt time, cycle time, variety, pricing and discount, customer attention, and additional service. From this factor, if the lean concept is applied, it will improve customer satisfaction. Next. Analysis. This is the statement that we have distributed to customer and research sample. And next, key finding. The average speed of the cycle time and takt time before applying the concept of lean to the transaction process is for 6 minutes, 7 seconds per customer for cycle time, and 4 minutes 55 seconds per process for takt time. These results are obtained from the average waiting time of customers in making transaction until transaction completion. The time is considered long enough, so that is not uncommon for customers to complain because of the long waiting time. Waiting time can be minimized and reduced by applying lean concept in the transaction process. Next. From this research, we have a conclusion. In this study, it can be seen that lean concept, if implemented properly, will affect the satisfaction of customer. One of the factors that can affect satisfaction is to cut the waiting time in the payment process. Next. Based on the research, we have some suggestion, which is the first one is operate more cashier machine, especially on weekend. Second is separating transaction between customer who buy a lot of product using trolley with a few using basket. The last one is provide self-service to facilitate customer who only buy a few items or who use e-money or e-wallet. Next, this is the reference in this study. Next, Okay, this is the end from the presentation. I think it's enough. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much. Dr. Ayu, please.
Okay. Sigit and Muhammad Melvin. Okay. I think you can change a little bit your topic. Right. It should be the study of lean concept using VSM method in Transmart Cempaka Putih, because you focus on this particular supermarket. So it should be in the title, because you cannot generalize and you come up with your results. You cannot generalize to all supermarket, right? So I think you should mention that name of the supermarket, right, in your title, so that we know that this is the supermarket that you focus on, right? So your results cannot be generalized, okay?
Okay,
Right. So and then so that would be, so you don't have to write customer satisfaction. Definitely, it will lead to customer satisfaction. Why you want to have a lean concept using this VSM? You want to make sure the customer are satisfied, isn't it? What is the issues? What is the main issue? Just now you mentioned, what is the main issue in your study?
Lean concept itself, if the lean concept implement properly, so we can cut the waiting time in the transaction process, and then at the end of the case, we can improve the customer satisfaction.
So the issue is, do the customers complain?
No.
Do the customers, a lot of customers complain, or you just you want to ensure that there will be, you're testing this concept, the lean concept. Are you testing the lean concept in this supermarket?
Yeah, we first we do a survey. We count manually the time and cycle time, so we can see the waiting time when the customer enter the buy the item and then go to queue. We have time and cycle time, right? So we count the time, and then we can now the time, the result of time by the cycle time and takt time before we cut the by apply the concept.
Okay, I understand that. Why you choose supermarket? Why you choose this supermarket? Why you choose Transmart Cempaka Putih as your study?
Yeah, thank you. Transmart is one of the biggest retail company in Indonesia, which has many brands in every region. So it can more easily to us to
you haven't heard any complaints from the customer, because the main reason why you study is because there is an issue in that particular supermarket. Do you know that? Do you understand what I'm saying? Because of this issue in that supermarket, that's why you try to improve the customer satisfaction, right?
Yeah.
So what I want to know is there a complaint by the customer? Because that is the reason why you do the study, isn't it? You conduct a study there. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. So, or you just do some application you want to apply.
Yeah.
Apply this concept in this particular supermarket because it's a big supermarket.
Yeah. Because
so you have to mention
on the weekend, we can see that many people in Indonesia have to buy some product in Transmart, so has any queue, a lot of queue.
Okay. One last question. Do you answer your hypothesis?
Yes.
You have two hypotheses. So I do not see your answer of your hypothesis. So what is the answer for the hypothesis?
Our hypothesis one is there is was in the transaction process of good. We can see the slide before in the analysis, non-value added and value added system. You can see before in our.
So when it comes to hypothesis, do you reject or do you fail to reject? Do you reject the hypothesis? Because in hypothesis you prove that, isn't it? Based on your results.
Yeah, based on our results. And then the hypothesis 2 is lean concept with value stream mapping method can minimize the occurrence of waste. Of course, it's true because our research is we can cut and we can see we can cut the waiting time from
So it means
from
that
6 minutes until 4 minutes.
This VCM is successful in cutting the number of waiting.
Yeah.
Are you saying that?
Yeah.
Because you have to answer your hypothesis.
Yeah.
You have to write back your hypothesis, and you have to prove it. Right,
Yeah.
based on your results just now, isn't it? I think you cut short a lot of your results, huh? Right?
Okay.
You just show the last results there. Okay.
Okay.
Alright, just the take time and the cycle time. You just show me that. Okay, actually there are more than that, isn't it? Okay. Alright, thank you. Okay, that's it. Sigit and Muhammad Melvin, thank you for presentation.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for your suggestions.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Before I continue, I'd like to remind all the presenters that not remind, but to what is it? For you to know, from the first presenter until now, Dr. Ayu always said that how important is hypothesis, and you have to tell what is the result of your hypothesis. You accept it or reject it. Yeah. So for the next presenters, please make sure if you have hypothesis, please mention is it accepted or rejected. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for all presenters. Now we go on with the sixth group, Rifki, Rawan, and Selfie, about the effect of e-service quality and price on online purchase intention, survey of food or drinks purchases during COVID-19. Okay, time is yours, please.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon all. Thank you for attending today's virtual conference. We really appreciate having had this opportunity to present our study with you. First of all, we'd like to introduce ourselves. My name is Rifi Rawan and my partner Selvi. We are students of ITL Trisakti. In this discussion, we would like to present the result of our study about the effect of e-service quality and price on online purchase intention, surface of food or drink purchase during COVID-19. Okay, next slide. Next slide, please. Before we start the presentation, this is a overview of our presentation. First is introduction, research problem, theory, hypothesis, research until reference. Next slide. We all know that the world is currently being hit by COVID-19. This pandemic not only attacks health, but also the world economy. This creates chaos that affect economic conditions, from the middle to lower middle to upper middle sector, and even affect the economy of a country. Based on a survey conducted by McKinsey, it was revealed that consumers start to do online buying and selling transactions during the COVID pandemic. This is reasonable considering going out of the house and shopping is quite risky. COVID-19 has an impact on consumer behavior toward the intention to buy a product in order to meet their daily needs. Next slide. The problem of our research in the era of pandemic COVID-19 is to find out how the service quality and price affect purchase intention during this pandemic. Next slide. There are some theory in our paper, that is the service quality, price, and purchase intention. The first is theory from Sabir regarding purchase intention. Purchase intention is an awareness of customer behavior to make an effort to buy a product brand. And then according to Wu and Lee about the service quality. The service quality, since the global expansion of the internet, many companies have adopted multi-channel policies for the operation and marketing of electronic service. And the last and the last about price according Yadav and Tata. In their study about price, that price is very influential in the process of determining consumer decision and considered as the most important factor. Okay, next slide. In the framework of our study, there are two independent variables and one dependent variable, which are the reference for the hypothesis in our research, where the dependent variable are the service quality and price, and the dependent variable is purchase intention. Next slide. There are three hypotheses from the research we conducted, namely, hypothesis 1, the service quality has a positive effect on purchase intention. Hypothesis 2, price has a positive effect on purchase intention. And then hypothesis 3, the service quality and price simultaneously have a positive influence on purchase intention. Next slide. Our research method use quantitative method based on primary and secondary data from international journal related to research. And our research time runs from June to July 2020. And there are 5 processes in collecting data, namely the population of the study were students of the ITL Trisakti 2070, totaling 1,200 students. The sample used was 300 respondents using the sloping formula. Data collection tools in our study using a questionnaire and using a Likert scale of 1 to 5, where scales 1 show strongly disagree and scale 5 show strongly agree. And then use path analysis with SPSS software. Next slide. This is the result of partial hypothesis test. This test is used to determine whether the independent variable partially influence the dependent variable. The table description are: point A, if the sig value less than 0.05, then the hypothesis is accepted. Point B, if the arithmetic greater than the table, then the hypothesis is accepted. From this table, it can be seen that based on the result of this table, the service quality has a value 4.409 greater than the table 0.113267. Then hypothesis 1 can be accepted with 95%. So that the service quality has a positive value and has influence on customer purchase intention. Based on the result of the test table, the price variable has a value 9.433 greater than table T 0.113267. Then hypothesis 2 can be accepted with 95%. So the price has a positive influence on customer purchase intention. Next slide. This is the result of simultaneous hypothesis test. This test is used to determine whether the independent variable simultaneously influence the dependent variable. The table description are: if point A, if the sig value less than 0.05, then hypothesis is accepted. Point B, if F arithmetic greater than F table, then the hypothesis is accepted. Based on the result of the F table test in table 4, the service quality and price variable have a value 176.483 greater than F table 3.026153. Then the hypothesis 3 can be accepted with a confidence level of 95%. So that service quality and price have a positive influence simultaneously on customer purchase intention. Next slide. This is the result of determination coefficient R square. This test is used to find out how much influence dependent variable is in the form of percent. The F-test table in table 4 are strength through the result of the R-square determination coefficient found in table 5, where the effect of the independent variable on the dependent is 54.3%, and the remaining 45.7% is caused by other factors. Then there is next slide. Next slide, please. So, then there is key finding. The key finding from our study are the relationship between the dependent variable and dependent variable. And the new finding in our study is that people are more likely to buy food or drink online during this pandemic, where indirectly it gives them a sense of security because there is no need to go out and their health will be guaranteed. Next slide. From the result of our study, it can be concluded that the result of our study indicate that the service quality and price have a significant positive effect on good purchase intention, particularly during this pandemic. The study shows that the service quality and price have a significant positive effect on purchase intention, either partially or simultaneously during the COVID period. The result of a questionnaire conducted through 300 students from ITL Trisakti showed that the high percentage where the indicator of buying which 53% and the lowest percent of result in the indicator of fulfillment is 0.12%. This proves that the pandemic is quite influential in changing consumer behavior pattern in food or drink, where consumers are more likely to buy food or drink through online application, which results in an increase in the percentage of buying via the application indicator. However, the pandemic made food or drink sellers careless in providing good quality electronic service to customers. This can be seen. Next slide. For future research, it's necessary to look at customer purchase intention in terms of how to adapt to increasingly sophisticated application update that from time to time are which can affect customer satisfaction because there are some customers who are not familiar with the use of purchasing application, and there are some customers who stumble and feel uncomfortable in using the application with sophisticated software when ordering for food or drink. Next slide. Okay, and these are our reference from various international journal. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you for attention. Thank you and good afternoon.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, please, Dr. Ali.
Okay, Rifki and Selfie, I think your study is clear and very straightforward, right? But the problem is, I think your title you have to change. You put in bracket survey, but then you just why not just put the influence of e-service quality and price of goods, because it's a price of what, isn't it? Price of goods on online purchase intention, double dot, maybe a survey on food essentials, kan? Right? They say food or drinks here. I think food or drinks together usually, isn't it? So maybe a survey on food, alright, during COVID-19. Okay, or you say during COVID-19, then double dot a survey on essential food. Then we know lah food and drinks. Right? So the title should be more direct on that part. Okay, so that people are clear on that. Okay, then I mean, you have proved all your hypotheses, fine. It's just that I would like to, comment on the theoretical framework, your conceptual model, your conceptual, you show just now the two factors, the two factors and the IV, the independent variable and the dependent variable. The arrow is the other side, okay? The arrow is wrong. It should be the other side because you see these two factors and the effect on that particular purchase online, isn't it? Right? So your arrow should be showing to your dependent variable. The intention to purchase online, isn't it? Or purchase online intention. Do you get what I'm saying? So please correct the arrow, right? So you have clearly explained all the statistics, your F test, your T test, and then your hypothesis, everything is there, as well as your conclusion. All right, so I think just the diagram, make sure you do it correctly, okay? Right, so I think that's it from me, okay? Thank you for the presentation, right?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Good job,
Thank you so much.
Vicky and Taufik. Now, let's continue with our next presenters, Dea Tiara and Shafira. The title is Analyzing the Impact of Product Quality Improvement and Process Efficiency and Its Ethics Towards On-Time Delivery of Tuna Fish at PT Pelni. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, this is lecture. First, we want to thank you all for your presence in today's presentation. Before we begin, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Dea Tiara Durianto, and my partner is Miss Safira Rizky Amartia, and also Mr. Hendro Punto Hadi and Miss Veronica as a journal officer. In this presentation, we want to discuss about analyzing the impact of product quality improvement and process efficiency and effectiveness towards on-time delivery of tuna fish at PT Pelni. Next, please. Next, please. This is our overview of our presentation. The first one is paper title, second one is introduction, and the third, research problem, and the fourth is theory, and the fifth is a framework, and sixth is a hypothesis, and seven is methodology, and the eight is analysis, and nine is data collection, and 10 is key binding, and 11 is conclusion, and 12 is reference. Next, please. At this time, in PT Pelni, there is a problem of lack of packaging facility and also inaccurate delivery time due to loading and unloading process. Service at the port, which still use the traditional system, so that it result in delay in shipping goods. Next, please. The research problem aim to find out that the packaging and handling strategy of tuna fish is appropriate, which affect the on-time delivery. Picture 1 is loading and unloading process at the port, and picture 2 is handling tuna fish, and picture 3 is the company. Next, please. Theory. On time is the availability of information for discussion makers when needed before the information loses the ability to influence a discussion. Next, please. This framework is from supplier to customer. The first step is receiving, and the next step is cutting, and after that is retouching or trimming, and the next step is packing, and before to customer, the last step is stuffing or loading. Next step, please. And this is the handling tuna fish. The first one is discharge, loading and unloading process at the port, and the next step is zipping to transit, and the next step is selection for good quality tuna fish, and then the next step is cleaning the rest of the belly and other parts, and after that is washing, flagging and recording, and the next step is storage to packing, and the next step is laboratorium testing, And the last step is quality tuna delivery. The hypothesis is variable 1, product quality improvement, and variable x2 is process efficiency and effectiveness, depends on variable y, on-time delivery. Next, please. Methodology. In this study, data collection in this research used the quantitative and research SPS26 software to process and analyze research data, namely validity and reliability tests. The regression model used in this study is multiple linear regression to test. They are t-test, f-test, and coefficient of determination. Next, please. This is analysis. This table is a question of multiple linear regression and test T. The result is 0.994. Next, please. And this table is test F. The result is 10,525.927. This data collection based on the result of questionnaire data 2020. Next, please. Key finding. Based on the table above, it can be seen that the coefficient of determination is found in the adjusted R-square value of 0.998, which means that the independent influence X on the dependent variable Y is 99.8%, while the remaining 0.2% is caused by other variables not identified into the model. Next, please. This is our conclusion. Based on the analysis of the result of the research in previous chapter, it can be concluded that the improvement of quality and packaging, product packaging standard carried out appropriately has a positive and significant effect on the timeliness of shipping the items stated quantitatively. This study has very effective results, while the effectiveness and efficiency of the process, especially in the process of handling goods, doesn't show the result of positive influence on time delivery. Next, please. This is the list of reference. Next. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you. Good afternoon.
Thank you very
Okay.
much. Yeah. Sarayu, please.
Okay. Gia and Rifki and Gia and Safira, right? Okay, analyzing the impact of product quality improvement. Okay, it seems that in your results that only product quality improvement have impact or has impact on the on-time delivery, right? Dia, who's presenting? Dia or Shafir? Who's answering the question?
I'm gonna answer the option. Safira.
Answering the question? Okay. So you found that significant is the quality, right? Okay. Product quality.
Yeah.
You found that there's only. Okay. And then if I look at your what you call the methodology, your research methodology, do you distribute or have you distributed? You are losing. You cannot hear me.
Sorry, I have a bad signal here.
Yeah.
No, know about the
Rainy, he has a
methodology.
black thing. Yeah. How many have you distributed? I mean, the number of questions you do mention in your methodology.
Yeah. How many questionnaires?
Have you distributed? You do.
We share 18 questionnaires to 50 respondents.
50 respondents.
Yeah.
Who are your respondents here? The work.
Our respondents is
the employees.
No. Our respondents is the customer of Peldi company.
Oh, the customer. I see. Only 50 of them? 50 respondents?
Yeah.
Is it company or personal?
Customer. She mentioned customer. She mentioned customer. Only 50 customers, not enough. Okay, 50 customers. Maybe these customers buy directly from this particular what you call company that sell tuna. Alright, only 50 customers that they managed to collect data on that. Because that's why you see that your particular value of your R squared, coefficient of determination, is very high, 0.99. Right, when it comes to primary data based on questionnaire, that result is not actually good, because of your customer is only 50, your data collection. Right, you have to get more in terms of your number of respondents. Right, so that's why your result, you get your particular coefficient determination R squared is 0.99. Right, actually that particular 0.99 does not show. And then your Chromebook alpha, your reliability, do you adopt the questionnaire? I'm asking, do you adopt and adapt the questionnaire? Means you get from the questionnaire from somewhere, you use that questionnaire to do your study.
Do you make your own questionnaire or do you use someone else?
Maybe she cannot hear.
We make
somebody else. Yeah, someone else.
We made it. We made it our questionnaires. Yes.
Means you do your own in terms of the items there. In terms of the items of your three variables, there are 2 IVs and 1 DV. If you come up with your own pilot test, actually, all right, a pilot test to prove that that questionnaire is acceptable or that survey is acceptable, right? Okay, because I found that the R squared is too high. Okay, the R squared is too high, and then your Chromebook alpha is less than 0.8. Usually Chromebook alpha, to test reliability test, Chromebook alpha will be very good if you get each of the variable is 0.8 above. Because you mentioned just now, you show is only 0.6 something. It's quite low, say. Alright, it's quite low. So that's why your results seems, you can see only one main variable, but not the other variable to be significant. Okay, so that is my concern on your topic. Okay, alright, so that is my comment.
Okay, thank you.
Alright, so please take note. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, so Deva and Safira, please make sure whether this is, the customer of the Pally is any customer or is it actually companies or supplier? Because customers and suppliers for company has different amount of number, yeah. Safira, and also about also consider about the calculation again, yeah, the R square and combat alpha. Okay, thank you, Dr. Ayu. Let's go on with the next one. Muhammad Maulana and Sandri Kurniawan.
Yes, Miss.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much to the moderator for presenting us. Now we will begin. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon to Madam Siti and Miss Reni and everyone here. We hope that everyone will always be given healthiness in the middle of this pandemic. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Wana, and the other side is my partner, Chandri Kurniawan.
Hello, my name is Andi Kurniawan. I am partner from Muhammad Maulana.
Okay, today we will presenting the result of our research. They're talking about the effect of land transportation and logistic policy in the normal against food availability in Jakarta. Let's get started. Next, please. Okay, as a big city in Indonesia, the influence of transportation and logistics in daily life for the citizens in Jakarta is very important and must be done so that human life can go well. Transportation and logistic policies become important in the distribution of goods, which must be resolved immediately with a fast and wise delivery to meet the needs of the community. So, in this case, the policies that we analyze, uh, sorry, uh, okay. In this case, the policies that we analyze are one, the regulation of Ministry of Transportation number 18 of 2020 point 8 3B is required to install a sticker on logistic transportation, and the second is the regulation of Ministry of Transportation number 18 of 2020 point 8 3D is that the manager of logistic or goods transport must carry out sterilization by spraying disinfectant. So the last, according to law number 18 of 2012, Article 1.8 is about concerning food. Okay, next please. Next, please. Okay. So, first one, first, I want to say sorry. There are some typo in this slide. The title should be research question, and the point two should be food availability in Jakarta. All right, research question. One, does the sticker installation policy on food transportation here have positive effects on food availability in Jakarta? And two, does the disinfectant spraying policy on logistical vehicle have a positive effects on the availability food in Jakarta? And the last, how is availability food when you normal in Jakarta? So the purpose of this research is to know the effect about land transportation and logistic policy against food availability in Jakarta when you normal. Okay, next please. All right, as you can see, this is our conceptual framework. Based on the research framework, it can be seen that in this study, there are two independent variables, x1 and x2, and one dependent variable, y. Okay, next please. So, this is hypothesis. One, there are positive effects between land transportation policy on food availability. Two, there are positive effects between logistic policy on food availability. And three, there are positive effects between land transportation policy and logistic policy on food availability. Okay, next please. All right. This is research design or methodology of our research. This research use descriptive quantitative methods. Data analysis technique in this study use multiple linear regression analysis method. Next, please. Okay. Um, the population of this research is the perpetrators of freight companies and part of a citizen of Jakarta in 2020. The sampling technique in this study use a random sampling technique, a data collection tool use questionnaire and a total sample for 412 respondents was obtained. All right. In this research, there are two kind data. The first one, primary data, from primary data were obtained from logistic policy actors who answer the question from the questionnaire, and secondary data in this study is regulation about transportation and logistics when new normal. Next, please. Okay, this is our analysis. So from this output, it is known that the significant value of variable x1 is 0, smaller than 0.05, and value of and x2 is 0, less than 0.05. It is known that the significant value for the effect of x1 and x2 simultaneously on y is 0 less than 0.05. So there are simultaneously x1 and x2 influence on y. Referring to the output of multiple linear regression analysis, explain that the contribution of the influence of x1 and x2 on y is 0. Is the 32%, while the remaining 68% is influenced by other variables that are not true. All right, next please. So this is our key finding of our research. There are three perception table. The first one is the perception of land transportation. Based on the chart, every logistic transport vehicle that uses a halt protocol are carried out according to the applicable regulation for the availability of food. Regarding to the delivery of food during the new normal period, it should be experienced and qualified food transport driver, and their health condition check regularly to import health protocol. So the next table 2, sorry for table 2. Table 2 should be perception of logistic policy, not availability food. So based on the chart, at the time of this new normal, Corona outbreak, the process of sending of logistics to Jakarta, long distance and the risk of transmission of the virus are one of the obstacles that must be anticipated, so that food is delivered quickly and hygienically. And and the last perception is food availability. Based on the chart, at the time of new normal, food needs in the household are enough and have good quality of physical health. Food condition at the time of delivery of goods must be sterile and in good condition and not contaminated by virus. Good food quality provides good health and nutrition for the community. Okay, next slide please. Okay, this is the conclusion of our research. This research shows that there is a positive relationship between land transport policy and logistic policy when the new normal implemented to food availability, which means that the availability of food for the citizen in Jakarta during new normal period is fulfilled, supported by land transportation policy and logistic policy. Okay, next, please. Okay, these are our references from journal, national journal and international journal. So this is last slide. Next slide, please. Okay, this is last slide of this presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Maulana. I thought you want to show something on your last slide, so thank you. Okay, Helga, are you please?
Okay, Maulana and Sandri, all right?
Yes.
Your title, maybe your title can be, just do some minor changes, right? The effects of land transportation and logistic policies on food availability in new normal, in new normal, the new COVID-19 lah, isn't it? During COVID-19. And then you put double dot a study on DKI in DKI Jakarta, because it's too long, that particular title, right? And sometimes when you read, all right, it sounds so, it sounds weird lah to say. So try to cut it short, but you mentioned like in new normal, and then it's a study in GKI Jakarta, isn't it? I don't know how to pronounce that, but something there. Okay, and then okay, yes, you have already. I mean, you have your respondents there. 420. That's good number. It's a good number. That's why you see your R squared there is acceptable. I would say it's acceptable. If you have less, then in terms of your sampling, it can affect that particular R squared there, right? It's just that did you show me the Chromba alpha? Did you show the Chromba alpha? We are
No. No,
it's
we're not
supposed to
sure
show
yet.
that. So, okay. I think you have answered your hypothesis. All right. It's all
Yes.
what you call I would say there is a positive influence, isn't it? Whatever you say. So you reject the H0, you accept that H1. So
Yes.
no problem on that. Okay. Right. I just that I want to comment on the one that you draw the diagram from strongly disagree to strongly agree. Right? You know that diagram just now?
Yes. Yes. I know.
Bar chart there. I think you have to change it. You want to know how many percent say this item, how many percent of the respondents agree with the item, isn't it? Right? Because it's rather confusing when you show the bar chart showing, that particular percent, I call strongly disagree to strongly agree. Because I cannot see any sense there, any sense there.
Yes.
So it's best that you just say how many percent agree with that item. Do you know what I'm saying? All right?
Yes.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying here? Okay,
Yeah.
you say how many percent agree with the item, how many percent disagree with the item. Because I cannot see what's the, what you are trying to imply by showing that diagram. The strongly disagree to strongly agree. The bar chart, the bar chart, all right? In your slide, one of your slide, the last slide there. So I think you can take it out. If you do not want to use percentage, just take it out because it doesn't make sense then. Your statistical analysis is already proof your results and your study there. Okay? You get me?
Yes,
Right?
I get
So
it.
that
Yes.
is my comment on the. Okay, all right. That is my comment. I think overall, it's a good presentation there. All right, for
Thank
your
you very much.
topic. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Welcome.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay, for our next presenters, yeah, Muhammad Difa Ulhaq and Refaldi Al Bayhaqi. It's about customer satisfaction of PT JNE Express Jakarta during COVID-19 situation. Okay, the time is yours, please. Diva or Revaldi.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to say thank you for joining my presentation. First, let me introduce myself and my partner. My name is Revaldi Albayhaki and my partner Muhammad Difaul Haq. We are from Trisakti Institute of Transportation and Logistics Jakarta. Diva, time and place is yours.
Thank you for Revaldi. In this opportunity, I would like to present our research that the title is Customer Satisfaction of PTJNE Express Jakarta during COVID-19 situation. Next, please. This research is conducted to find out how price and service quality determine customer satisfaction of JNE Express during COVID-19 situation. First, I will explain to you about COVID-19 pandemic, price, service quality, and customer satisfaction. Then I will explain why price and service quality is so important for customer satisfaction and of course for us. COVID-19 is a health crisis situation that is being faced by the whole world, especially in Indonesia. It affects not only the health sector, but also the economy on the global scale. Please, next. Next. Like we can see at the beginning of March, Indonesia announced that there were 2 positive patients of COVID-19. In 6 April 2020, the government had made several attempts to resist COVID-19 outbreak. One of them is establishing large-scale social distancing regulation. Next. Next. Because of the application of large-scale social distancing, the result is quite significant in society activities. It is proven by many commercial transactions have shifted from offline to online service to fulfill society needs. PT Express is one of a courier service company in Indonesia. JNE receive advantage as their services are not restricted from large-scale social distancing policy. The online marketplace encourages delivery service companies, namely JNE Express. According to a survey of website Top Brand Index, results showed the winner of biggest Top Brand Index in 2019 is JNE with 26% relatively affordable price with various online services. We have 3 variables here, and the one is variable x1 with price, and variable x2 service quality, and variable y customer satisfaction. From if we look from previous research with the title of customer satisfaction determined by service quality and price, stated 72% of customer satisfaction was influenced by price and service quality, and 27% was influenced by other factors outside the research variables. Next, please. Our hypothesis is, does price affect the customer satisfaction? And does service quality affect customer satisfaction? And how customer satisfaction determined by price and service quality? Next. Our methodology. We use multiple linear regression. This research is using quantitative research by applying analysis tool IBM SPSS version 25. Next, we have 100 sample. Next. Based on the result of ANOVA table, the linearity test result have a significance value of 0.481, which means it's greater than the significance level of 0.05. This means that there is significant linear relationship in the variable customer satisfaction of PT JNE Express in Jakarta in the COVID-19 situation. Next, please. Coefficient of determination. From the calculation above, the acquired correlation value between variable x1, x2, and variable y or R product moment equals 0.798, which indicates strong correlation between variable x1, variable x2, and variable xy with the F table with the F equals 19.8. Acquired our table in significance rate 5% among 0.1916. This RXY with value amount 0.798 is bigger than our table value, which means there is a significant relationship between customer satisfaction toward PTJNE expressed in Jakarta during COVID-19 situation. Therefore, determining coefficient number equals to 63% indicates positive contribution of JNE Express customers toward price and service quality during COVID-19 situation. Meanwhile, the other 37% are caused by other factors that are not analyzed in this research. Next, please. And the conclusion, this research could answer all of the hypotheses. Therefore, it can be concluded that price and service quality simultaneously and partially influence customer satisfaction toward PT JNE Express Jakarta. Price and service quality contributes 63% toward customer satisfaction. Meanwhile, the other 37% are caused by other factors that are not analyzed in this research. Next. Next. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. That's all that I thank you that I can show you. Next, please. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, Reni. Reni, are you there? Hello, Reni. Can I comment? Hello. Hello, Reni. Can you hear me?
Hello, Miss Reni.
Hello, sorry, my connection is also go wrong. Hello, this is Reni. I'm using someone else. I'm using my phone. Yeah. So I'm using someone else. Name Gita Ayu. Gita Ayu is me.
So
Okay, please, Dr. Ayu.
Okay, I will comment. Okay, right. Diva and Rivaldi. Okay. I think something missing in your title. What is the missing part? You say customer satisfaction or PTE something. You know, I have to say what are your variables here. You are mentioning about service quality and price, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
Yeah, you forget to state here because you say customer satisfaction can be anything, you know, because customer
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Miss.
unless you put there customer satisfaction.
Satisfaction.
Yeah, so you have to add the two
Of variables.
customer satisfaction of JNE Express, isn't it? Alright, so please make sure try to correct your title, because something missing there, okay? Alright?
Okay, Miss.
Okay,
Okay,
next
Miss.
one. Your results, alright, you prove, okay, your F test is significant to show that the overall result is accepted. The two variables are significant, right? The two variables are significant as well, okay? Your number of customer respondent 100, okay, is acceptable,
100
alright?
respondent.
I have no issue on that, right? It's just that you don't what you call inform regarding the demographic, you know, demographic profile of your respondent. How many percent what you call male, female, do you know that? Demographic
Yeah,
profile.
but I didn't
Yes.
put.
It's not there
But I didn't
in
put.
terms of the customer.
But I didn't put having
Because
or
almost
point.
actually when you do a, oh yeah, you have to put it actually. I want to see who are your what you call who are your respondent. You have to put it, you know, out of that 100, how many male, how many female, gender, right? And then what is the range of their income? You know, the range of their income, okay, and what is the purpose of them using this PTJNE Express, isn't it? Right? So I need to get that information so that I know who are your respondents. Right? So I think put demographic people, put in a table, right? Talking about gender, all right, you can put their gender, you can put the range of income, I don't know, whatever information you need to have to do the profiling of your respondent. Okay, all right,
Okay,
so that
Okay,
Miss.
is
Miss.
my comment on your study, right? Okay, so please
Okay.
put it there so I know. Okay, in terms of your result, I have no comment, acceptable. Okay, all right,
Okay,
that's
Okay.
it
Miss.
for
Okay,
this
thank
Alright.
one.
you.
Okay,
Good
Okay,
job,
thank
all
you for
Nita
right,
and
attachment.
Valdi.
Okay.
welcome.
Before
Now,
we close our presentation, I want to say thank you for the reviewer, Dr. Siti Ayu, and the moderator, Miss Reni, and
you're welcome.
our lecturer, Miss Lira Agusinta. Thank you.
Okay, good job, guys. Now, let's go with our next presenters, Sarah and Sadira. Who's going to present? Time is yours.
Thank you. I will present. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Saraya Ricara Celino, and my partner is Sadiara Emiliana Astuti. We are from Trisakti Institute of Transportation and Logistics. Secondly, let's praise to God that has given us the life, gifts, enjoyment, and health, so until today, we could get together in this event of GROSTLOG 2020. Thirdly, we'd like to present our paper with the title of Implementation of the COVID-19 Pandemic Protocol as one of the warehousing logistics strategies based on Ministry of Health Regulation number HK001.07/Mencast/328/2020. Next, please. This is the overview of our presentation. Next, please. Let me start with the introduction. The COVID-19 virus transmits by close contact via airborne droplets generated by coughing, sneezing, or even talking. After becoming a pandemic, countries started to implement lockdowns and social restrictions to prevent further infection.
During the social restrictions, logistics services are allowed to keep operating, including warehouse operations. However, with the implemented social restrictions, human resources working in a warehouse are reduced in one work shift, and that could cause a disruption in warehousing operations. To name one is achieving customers' KPI. A warehouse should achieve the customer's KPIs, and it is not easy to do so with the restrictions. With less human resources, how can a warehouse maintain warehousing activities while preventing transmission and creating a healthy and safe work environment? To answer that, the COVID-19 pandemic protocol that was published by Ministry of Health can be a guide for warehouse management to start implementing the COVID-19 pandemic protocol as one of the strategies to maintain warehousing operations, implement social restrictions, and create a safe work environment. Next, please. The research problems of our paper are: how is the implementation of the COVID-19 pandemic protocol in a warehouse? And how does COVID-19 affect a warehouse? The objective of our paper is to provide an overview of differences in logistics activities in warehousing before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. The second objective is to recommend the implementation of COVID-19 pandemic protocol in warehousing for logistics companies with the aim of achieving KPIs and preventing COVID-19 spreading without disrupting the logistics process in warehousing. Next, please. The theories used in our paper are Indonesia's Ministry of Health regulation about preventing and controlling COVID-19 in workplace during pandemic, as well as books and journals on warehouse management. Next, please. For the research methodology, the research subject in this paper is PT Agility Pondok Ungu branch. Primary data used in this paper were obtained from an interview with Mr. Widianto as General Manager of PT Agility Indonesia, as well as Mr. Wildan as the Head of Human Resource Department, while secondary data was gathered from PT Agility Pondok Ungu branch. This research used comparative method, as comparative methods can find similarities and differences in two or more different samples or different times. In this study, comparative method is used to provide an overview of the differences in logistics activities in warehousing before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. Next, please. The implementation of the COVID-19 pandemic protocol in Agility Pondok Ungu is as follows. The first point is workers' attendance. Before the pandemic, workers only need to scan their ID card for attendance. However, during the pandemic, workers have to exercise and sunbathe before working while maintaining physical distance. Workers' body temperature is checked using thermal gun, and the result is input into an app. If the temperature is more than 37.3 degrees Celsius, workers must wait for the second check. If the result of the second check is under 37.3 degrees Celsius, the workers can enter the warehouse. If it's still above, the workers must go to hospital and will be monitored for 14 days. Workers must also wash their hands before entering the warehouse. Inside the warehouse, they must disinfect their workplace before and after work. Workers must also wear masks while working. This is all done according to the Ministry of Health regulation, as you can see in the slide. Next, please. The second point is 5-minute standing meeting and physical distancing implementation. For 5-minute standing meeting before the pandemic, workers stand as usual without any minimum distance. However, during the pandemic, workers stand with 1 meter minimum distance between workers, and the leader must use megaphone. Next, please. The third point is about shifts. Before the pandemic, shift schedules are as usual. All the workers start and stop working at the same time. The workers in between shifts meet each other for coordination. Overtime is also allowed. However, during the pandemic, shift schedules are adjusted and distanced between shifts so that workers don't meet each other in order to avoid potential transmission. For example, as you can see in the table, for the first shift, the workers go home at 2:50, and the second shift workers start at 3:10. There's a 20-minute break in between shifts to avoid transmission. Each customer's workers also start their shift at different times and have different break times. Overtime is also not allowed. The fourth point is COVID-19 campaign. Before the pandemic, there are only normal healthy, safety, security, and environmental posters across the warehouse. However, during the pandemic, there are posters for COVID-19 pandemic protocol. and posters on how to prevent transmission. Workers also use the protocol poster as laptop or PC background wallpaper, and they are constantly broadcasting the protocol in the warehouse using megaphones. This is all done according to the Ministry of Health regulation, as you can see in the slide. Next, please. The fifth point is barricading warehouse for customer and using disinfectant. Before the pandemic, the concept of barricading warehouse for customer is not recommended due to consolidation purposes, such as using the same equipment, space, and workers for several customers. However, during the pandemic, barricading warehouse per customer is done so that equipment, space, and workers are dedicated to each customer. This is done to prevent transmission among workers. Disinfectant is also used. The sixth point is about workers' entrance and additional facilities and equipment. Before the pandemic, all workers enter and exit the warehouse through door on F1, as you can see in the picture on the bottom right. There are no access restrictions between each door from F1 to F20, and there are no hand washing facilities other than in restrooms. However, during the pandemic, there are 7 additional doors for entrance and exit. They also place 4 points for temperature check, and they provide additional facilities and equipment such as portable hand washing facilities. Next, please. The seventh point is establishing COVID-19 handling team and Captain COVID-19. This is something that has never been done before the pandemic. The COVID-19 handling team is divided into several sections, and each of the members has their own responsibilities. Captain COVID-19 is formed to ensure the implementation of protocol in warehouse environment by taking pictures of any violation in the area. The pictures will be sent to the program via mobile phone and will be shared to their respective managers. Workers who violate the protocol will get warning, and if the workers keep violating the protocol, they will get punishment. Next, please. And here is the impact of COVID-19 on Agility Warehouse. Um, During this pandemic, the numbers of orders that PT Agility received have decreased. According to Agility, each of Agility customers' KPI remains the same. In fact, one customer's productivity has increased, namely an aromatherapy product. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can see the table on the left, ever since the COVID-19 cases emerged in Indonesia and the COVID-19 has been declared as a pandemic, we can see that there has been a significant order increase in March compared to the previous month, and it keeps increasing for the next month. Agility also needs additional workers to handle the order increase. As you can see in the table, up to June, there were around 90 workers. If you look at the graphic on the right, the workers' daily productivity for the aromatherapy product increased by having some improvements in warehouse and workers' discipline during the implementation of the COVID-19 protocol. Next, please. Based on research information data, we can conclude that the differences in warehouse activities before and during the pandemic are as you can see on the slide. Next, please. The COVID-19 impact on Agility Warehouse is as follows. During this pandemic, numbers of orders that PT Agility received have decreased. However, an aromatherapy product undergoes a significant order and productivity increase. With the strict implementation of the COVID-19 pandemic protocol, human resource compliance, and some improvements in warehouse, workers' daily productivity will also increase. Therefore, we recommend the implementation of the COVID-19 pandemic protocol to prevent transmission and maintain the health of the warehouse, its employees, and the productivity of the warehouse. Next, please. Finally, these are the books and journals that we use in our paper. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all for our explanation of our paper. We'd like to say thank you for your time and your attention.
Thank you very much.
Okay, can I comment, Rainy? Okay.
Yeah, please.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Sarah, and Sadira. Okay, I think something missing in your top title, right? Because when you present, you talk about agility, right? Agility of the warehouse, right?
Yes.
So Because here you just put a title as implementation of the COVID-19. So what is actually you are studying? You know, you look at the impact of this particular protocol on the agility, right? Agility of the, just now you mentioned agility of what?
Of the warehouse.
Cannot hear you, Sadia. Of the warehouse, right? So
Yeah.
you don't mention here because your dependent variable must be shown in your title, right? Title is not sufficient. You just mentioned the implementation. So what is the impact of that implementation on something, isn't it? All right. So you say impact of the implementation of COVID-19 pandemic protocol on the agility of the warehouse, right? So that is complete. If not, I do not know what actually you are based on your title. I cannot capture what is your study, right? So you have to make some changes here in your title, okay? To show what is your dependent variable here, okay? So it's found that it's agility on the warehouse, isn't it? All right. So that is the first comment regarding the title. All right. I think, and when it comes to your analysis, you are using, your observation, right? Is more to qualitative. Your research method, your methodology, your research method. You are using comparative study. Then if you use comparative, there should be something in the title mentioning about comparative. You have to compare before and after, isn't it? So your title must portray your study. All right. So if you want to comparative before and after implementation, right? So then only your analysis is acceptable. You see that? Okay. Right, I think that is my main concern lah regarding, and then your method, you just do observation, right? Interview, no? Your method of analysis
and interview.
Interview as well. You do. Okay, so you have to discuss about the method that you use. Okay, all right. Because you don't mention, so I thought that you give questionnaire ke, I don't know, right? You do a survey, but if you interview, you do through observation, then you have to mention in your methodology. Okay. Sadira, in terms of your results you show is okay. No comment on that. Okay. All right. It's just that your title, whatever you study there should be in the title. Okay. All right.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good job, girls. Now, everybody looks happy and tired, but we still have one more. One more, so stay still. Yeah. The last presenter. Yeah, the last presenter is Miss Nur Hurul Ain. She's student from Malaysia. Are you from ITM also?
Yes, I am from
Okay. Nur Hurul will about an overview of potential hazards and control measures of food delivery. Start because we don't have your PPT. Yeah, you can start, but you have 10 minutes. Okay, please.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, and a very good afternoon. Everyone can see my slideshow, right?
Yes, you can.
Yes, Aisha, I can. Aisha Ain, Hurul Ain. Hurul Ain. I can see.
Okay, I will start now. Okay, Assalamualaikum, and a very good afternoon to the panel, moderator, and fellow participants. So thank you for having me here today. I hope you are all doing well in the midst of the pandemic. So my name is Nurul Aibin Zakaria, and I'm going to present to you today about an overview of the potential hazard and control measure of the food delivery service activities. Sorry. Okay. This is the overview, and I will start with the introduction. So in the region of the Southeast Asia, the food delivery market is expected to grow from $2 million in 2019 to an estimated $8 million to 2025. So among the food service company, Foodpanda is the most is the first delivery company that started aggressively in Malaysia. Foodpanda, GrabFood, and GoFood get a commission of 15 to 30%. And according to the WHO, estimate that 1.8 million deaths related to the contaminated water and food occurred every year. So WHO in 2015 stated that foodborne illness caused 33% rate of mortality in 2014. So in the United States, the incident rates of the foodborne illness are more than quarter cases of 100,000 population. So serious outbreak happens in Malaysia in 2013 caused by eating the chicken dish that has contaminated with salmonella bacteria. So this is the several example of the food delivery services that are available here in Malaysia, which is the famous one is Foodpanda, Delivery Eat, Running Man Delivery, which is available in Kuala Lumpur, Dah Makan, Food Time, and also GrabFood. Okay, for outbreak cases, according to look at 2020, there are more than 50% of foodborne diseases outbreak are caused by the food contaminated with norovirus. Norovirus is a virus that invade our stomach and also small intestine. It can cause vomiting and diarrhea, which is a very common virus found in the food that is spoiled. So foodborne transmission accounted for 40.774% of the total norovirus outbreak in Guangzhou from 2016 to 2018. So among the contamination by the kitchen worker accounted for a large proportion of food. So in the recent several outbreak of the norovirus gastroenteritis in the school have been reported in China. So there are more than 2 outbreaks in the 4 schools from 2015 to 2017 in Guangzhou, according to the National Public Health Emergency Event Surveillance Systems. And Lu et al. 2020 also mentioned that from 2012 to 2015, the strain, the genotype 2, strain number 3, accounted for 12.3% of 17 norovirus cases. The outbreak in Guangzhou province, China, was identified that norovirus was caused by the consuming takeout food in China. Infection rates of the asymptomatic that's present in the foods. So what is the potential hazard in the foods? So food hazard is the hazard that contribute to the foodborne illness and injury, which is important to determine the necessary step to prevent, reduce, and to an acceptable level, or eliminate altogether hazards before food reach to the consumer. So the causes of the food hazard is from the raw material and other ingredients, processes, and food process environment. So the categories of the food hazard is by the 3 categories, which is biological hazard, which is when the microorganism is present in our food, and technically a insect and also rodent is also in the biological hazard categories, and biological hazard is the fastest to give a foodborne or large outbreak to the consumer who consume the food. And for the physical hazard is the foreign matter present in the food, usually due to the unsanitation condition during the processing of the food. And for the chemical hazard, it's rarely happen in developed country, but also can present in the food due to the residue of the food, the chemical during the primary of the food chain during the agricultural practices. So for the other hazards is ingredients, nature, factor, processing procedure, microbial content of the food, facility designs, and etc. So for the research problem, food delivery services have the greatest potential of spreading diseases. However, hazard related to the food delivery is fully documented in literature. And the objective is to determine the potential hazard based on delivery service activities. So this is the framework, the general flow of the food delivery process and the possible hazard critical control point. You start with the customer browse the menu option, placing the order, pay using the payment methods. Then the store owner will receive the payment and prepare the food, where we identify the first CCP, which is the hazard during preparation, receiving, and also packaging of the food. So the common virus is norovirus and also Shigella species bacteria that caused by the cross contamination between the cooked food or raw food. And then the third party of the in-house delivery services, we identify the second critical control point, which delivery hazard present during delivery, which is storage condition and also duration of the transport. So during the delivery, we deliver the food, the ready to eat food, which is have a very limited shelf life. So this food should be kept in a suitable condition, which is usually at the chill temperature or at the higher temperature. But during the middle of the temperature, if we call it danger zone, from 4.4 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius is a very call it crucial temperature. Can cause higher the can cause the bacteria to grow and cause a foodborne illness. Okay, this is the key finding, which is the list of the possible hazard arise from the food delivery activity, which is we identified four major sources and a possible hazard, uh, and the control measure and monitoring procedure and also the corrective action. So the first source is a food preparation, which possible hazard that might be grow is a microbial contamination, which is mold and microbial growth. So the control measure is the temperature and humidity control. For monitoring is we're using the visual
Tapi di atas,
inspection,
masih di atas
and
laptopnya kan,
corrective
masih
action is
dipakai.
dispose the food that exceed the stipulated time.
Apanya?
And for
No,
the
I'm
two
sorry,
second
your
sources
time
is
is
the
Iya di
food
atas,
1
laptopnya di
minute.
atas masih dipakai
I'm
Pak
sorry
Aris.
to interrupt, but your time is 1
Iya.
minute.
Ini buat host doang di bawah.
Is the contaminated
Soalnya di atas
packaging,
jaringannya sibuk
microbial and
banget.
cleaning. Then for the control measure is to remove the bag and control the temperature, humidity, and wash it thoroughly to reduce the residue. Visual inspection, check the temperature and humidity, and also use the temperature indicator. So for corrective action, by rejection and also clean and sanitize the storage, replace the bag and also microbes, and replace the bag if there are any odor or residue persist in it. For the third sources is transportation, which is delivery, duration of delivery and the delivery to control it. Delivery rotation must be less than 30-minute distance and use the time indicator for monitoring, and no delivery to the consumer more than 30-minute distance. For delivery rider, microbial contamination due to the improper hygiene and infected food handler. Control use hand sanitizer and strictly train the rider. And for monitor use handler that has certificate and vaccinate it, and provide training and request the rider to vaccinate it. So the last one is the conclusion. As for the conclusion, in deliver the safe and quality food to the consumer, knowledge and education on the food safety and food handling together with the good hygiene practices are very important for delivery services. CCP are identified at the receiving and also transportation of the food. Therefore, preventive measure should be implemented in these hazard points. So the fact that the food delivery service is very different from food manufacturing and unique in terms of location, logistic, and also various types of food where they deliver
effort in controlling the safety of the food needs to be improved and changed, ensure that no incidents of the foodborne illness will be occur in the future. So this is the references. Okay, that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nurul. Now it's Dr. Ayu, please.
Okay. Uh, Nurul, in terms of your presentation, all right, you just look at the overview, all right, of the potential hazards lah, in terms of, talking about the food, and you identify the critical point, all right, CCP, critical point. All right. The thing is that, do you have any method in terms of how do you identify them? Do you have any method that you use?
For now, I just do the overview. But for the future literature, for the future recommendation, I will do a lab analysis to see the food safety inspection for the food delivery services.
Okay, so for each of the method, for each of the stages, right? Isn't it that you identify with the food preparation? How do you go about with your analysis? You just observe them? Using observation, method?
Maybe using a laboratory analysis.
Oh, based on laboratory analysis.
Yes.
You look at the food operation, okay, and then the next one, apa tadi kan? So the thing is that everything is through lab punya, and the lab analysis, is it?
Yes. For the next,
okay, because for at the moment, when you come up with this study overview, you look at how you come up with that method.
For this overview, I just study the Food Agriculture and Organization Handbook, and also WHO 2020 for the COVID guidelines of the food services.
Means you just look at the information, say secondary data lah, in that sense lah, by looking at the WHO, everything, just to ensure that people understand how do you identify the hazards of these potential hazards of the food lah, right? Okay. I think that's why you put an overview, because you do not discuss any certain method, methodology. Alright. Okay. Alright. I think that's it. Unless there is question from the floor. Alright.
Any question?
Yeah, we are waiting for question from the floor. Where are you guys?
Okay, any question?
Any question, guys? No, there are two. No questions. You never to ask questions. Dr. Ayu, so it means that everybody
is tired.
I don't want to ask anything.
Yeah.
Okay then. So I think we already come to our last session, yeah, Dr. Ayu, yeah. And for all the presenters, please go back to your laptop, because I can see someone missing. Go back to your laptop. Let me see, because I want to do the screenshot for all the participants. Please give your big smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, okay, let me pass this first before I go to the next. What is it? Okay, the next one. Okay, are you ready? 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you very much. So this is the end of our parallel session. I would like to say thank you and big appreciation for Dr. Siti Ayu Jalil. Thank you so much for spending your time with us and give many inputs and comments to our participants, who are mostly our students. I think they are very beneficial for the next project or research paper, yeah. And I believe that the students learn a lot from what you mentioned in this parallel session.
And also for presenters, you have done a very good job. Congratulations for all of you. And don't forget to pay attention to what Dr. Ari have told you and do the revision. I mean, there is a note there. Evaluation form.
I will do the evaluation immediately. Because I've written that in
Oh yeah,
papers,
sorry.
all right, that
Yeah,
you gave me,
I
so I
read.
print it out. So I will give it. I just have one question. The number LOA number, you just want the number, or I have to put the gross log dash 1110, for example,
The number is
110.
okay. We want to make it
Only
easy
the
to you.
number.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Easier for
sometimes
you.
they rejected, isn't it? Okay, so I just put the number.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
LOA
right.
and then the number. Yeah.
Okay. So
Okay. Once
LOA
again,
just the.
thank you very much, Dr. Ayu and all the presenters. And we hope that you can gain benefit from this session. And good luck for your future studies and next project. See you again next year. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Congratulations.
Hi, Mustika.
Thank you, May. Hi. Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
I saw your picture. Wow, you are in Europe, huh?
No, not the pictures. Yes, well.
Thank you, Miss.
Alright,
Bye.
bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Thank you, Miss. Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Thank
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Muah, 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 muah.
Alah, people, gimana?
Sarah, Dr. Aisyah,
Yung
Budiman.
oh,
Nah,
Oke, Miss Reni.
Diva tahu-tahu aja Diva.
Tapi nggak tahu yang lain.
Pokoknya I love you all.
Okay,
Bye,
good.
bye.
Parang ngeyong gitu.
Itu buat
I do in your box.
Baca chat kit.
Iya, bayu. Ayo
Mira, jangan lupa baca teks.
Halo Sapi.
Sapi. Yes.
Ngobrol deh, saya tinggal ya, kalian ngobrol di sana. Saya tinggal ya.
Congratulations all.
Cipuy.
Selamat ya guys. Oke, saya begini.
Love you, Sapi.
Cipuy mana Cipuy? Halo. Thank you. Oke saja.
Ya, saya mau lihat.
Bye. Ada Om dong.
Ada ini dia kenapa juga soalnya.
Bagi
Ada ini ya suaranya di zoomnya dia.
Guys.
Iya.
Sinyal iya. Dari awal.
Guys, foto guys.
Ya, dadah guys.
Oh, ada foto kan. Foto. Iya. Azrul dia udah saya ya, bola sama dia.
Masuk sini, masuk satu kan.
Halo Dea Imut.
Dadah ya semuanya. Bye.
Selfie.
Kan tadi udah berani.
Dadah.
Selfie lu ngeghosting mulu selfie.
Pasti iya anjir, ya Allah gue mau nangis gila, tau gak? Jaringan gue parah banget.
Terus mau ini, udah mau apa? Oh biar enak nanti.
Hai, sambil mulai.
Dadah.
Bye-bye.
Dadah. Ini kayaknya si Tina semua ini. Dulu.
Hai bro.
Gak.
Wih, dia juga ada ngomong anjir si Kevin.
Lebih parah berapa? Itu lo betulnya gimana? Mantap itu semoga.
Hai Pak.